I want to thank Bishop John R. Bryant, who is here from the AME Church. Bishop Bryant gave an invocation the day I first took oath of office on December 12th, 1979, and Norman Reeves was being carried to the stage that day because he had muscular dystrophy, and only the two of us were fortunate enough to get elected. And I remember John Bryant saying in his prayer that just as Norman is being carried to the stage to be sworn in on the back of someone, that all of us who are fortunate enough to serve in office are carried on the backs of men and women, nameless and faceless, to get to where we are, and that what we are and what we will have would be a sacred trust. I never forgot that, John, not at all. He's joined by his wife, Dr. Cecilia Bryant, by one of the first interns I ever had, my adopted son, who I took to get his driver's license and who worked for me and who's gone on to do great things. All of you know him as Reverend Jamal Bryant from Atlanta. Thank you for flying up from Atlanta, Jamal. I really appreciate that. My thanks also to Dr. Thelma T. Daly, former national president of Delta Sigma Theta, head honcho at the Links Incorporated. Every organization you can think of with good, strong, fighting women, she has been at the forefront. Thelma, thank you as always for coming here and having been such a great friend over these many, many years. Miss Beth Wong, who was with our 2006 campaign, has signed up again. Beth, where are you? We're kind of putting the gang and the band back together again, like the Blues Brothers. Dave Shapiro, former delegate, and my buddy from many, many years, who is here. Thank you, David, and thanks so much for making the time to be here. Frank Belushi, who I first ran into in the Schaefer administration, who's always been a good soldier. Frank, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm afraid I don't want to miss anybody, so let me acknowledge former Senator Joan Carter Conway, the mayor of Northeast. I see former Mayor Sheila Dixon is here. Sheila, thank you very much. We cut our teeth together, coming up together, so thank you for being here. Somebody will slip me a note before I get off the stage to let me know who I might be forgetting. I do want to acknowledge Garnett Hall, who is with the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rites, and to all my brothers of the craft. We are all Prince Hall, Maryland Masons. Thank all of you for being here. There are a couple of people who are not here who said, please let them know I'm with you. Dwayne Wickham, former columnist with USA Today, and Reverend A.C.D. Vaughn of the Sharon Baptist Church, and several others that I'm going to mention at another point in the program because I'm trying to rush through this. I want to thank all of you who've come here from the NAACP. Thank you. Thank you for 9 years of great work. So lovely. Those of you who are here from Morgan State University, students and others, thank you so much for being with us. Now let me go back to family. My sisters and I, God has spared us of life to be around, and so we have stayed together as a family and have grown up in the lessons we learned when we grew up together in abject poverty. In a segregated community long ago, where my mother and my sisters were actually made, along with myself, to ride the back of the bus. So I know that experience. I remember what it was like. I didn't understand it as a child. But I did understand that there was something different, according to my mother. It was called freedom, fairness, justice, and fair play. And she said, I won't be around to see it, but that day is coming. In those days, unlike these, we were learning as a nation the painful lesson of discrimination and trying as a nation to find our way out of that dark past. But that never caused my family or me to question our worth or to question our bond. Oftentimes when we needed shoes, my mother would take us downtown on the back of that bus to a store that we could not enter, and she would put my foot on a brown paper bag, draw the outline of my foot, cut it out, and then go to the rear entrance of the store to give it to a salesperson who would then go and take it and place it in a shoe until they found one that fit. Oftentimes, we were, like many of you, trying to figure out life at a much younger age. And despite the Supreme Court ruling of Brown versus the Board of Education that technically started the process of doing away with segregation, I never had the experience of knowing what a white classmate was like until I got to college. So, despite all of that, my mother would leave her job as a maid, come home to us at night, read the Bible, and tell us about a God who loved all of us. She said he was a God who never saw race, who never saw color, who never saw creed, who just only saw people. So it's out of that past that I was taught the simple things. Work hard, play by the rules, love your country, cherish your faith, respect your elderly, and always believe in yourself. Today we're here in a situation that is a little awkward, I think, for all of us. A month ago, I would have never imagined that I would be before you this afternoon in this capacity. A month ago, my dear friend Elijah was alive and well, and we were all on the phone or in other places, or some even at his bedside, cheering him on to good health as he was pitted against the president, who was the personification of everything that he and I both thought was wrong. Today we're here without Elijah, but his memory and his spirit to fight back and to fight on is alive, well, and flourishing in all of us today. It is out of that unpredictable reality that I stand here before you today. Out of that confluence of facts and occurrences that has brought us to this point where I honestly believe that I've got to find a way to make sure that all he and others fought for is not lost, tossed to the side, or forgotten. And so it's out of that context that I stand here before you today to announce my candidacy to return to the congressional seat of the 7th Congressional District of Maryland. And I need to do that with all of you. I need you with me. I need you with me because, like you, all of us believe in the American right to clean water, to clean air, to a good education for children no matter what their zip code or surname is, that we need to make sure that we protect our energy and our environment, that we need fair and just immigration laws, that federal workers have a right to expect federal protection, that seniors all over the place, and I am one, have every right to believe that Social Security will continue to provide them with the smallest bit of hope, because without that there is no hope. And I would also think that all of you understand that most of us are just like anybody else. Most of us are average. We have a few geniuses among us and a liberal sprinkling of fools. And having said that, I ask all of you to join in this fight. Now, I couldn't do this without family, and my family has been very supportive. I mentioned earlier my sons and my sisters. I want to mention the other extension of my family, the McMillans. They're here, and I want to thank them very, very much for your prayers and for everything. And I would say to all of you who are community organizers, whether you're in Howard County or Baltimore County or Baltimore City, we are all one group together, and we've got to find a way to stay together to lift this district so that we might be able to bring about the kind of change that we all need. Trust me, if I were not trusted, prepared, and ready to go to work on day one, I would not be here. And although we, as a group of people, of different races and preferences and backgrounds and locations and stations in life. Although we have crossed many rivers in our own lifetime, I would suggest that we still have another river to cross. Far too many Americans, because of their race, their ethnicity, or their surname, find themselves standing before the gate of American mainstream, recognizing that gate is not fully open to them. They are black, they are white, they are Latino, they are poor, they are affluent, and many others are trying to find a way to gain citizenship, to gain hope, and to give back to this country. Far too many of them, like others, understand that that bridge that is before them too often resolves itself into discussions on discussions, proposals on proposals, studies on studies, and then another plan B for the plan A that failed them. Socially, the issue of race and skin color, unfortunately, still dominates every aspect of American life, both at home and abroad. Educationally, our schools in some instances are overcrowded and ill-equipped, and in some places, drugs are more available than textbooks. Too many of our young people are being promoted because of their age and their size and are not being taught the very basic. Too many teachers are paying for supplies and books out of their own pockets. Economically, it is clear that after many, many years of congressional acquiescence to the concept of Robin Hood in reverse, the rich have more, and the have-not often have not at all. And so in this era of smaller vision, rampant apathy, and celebrated mediocrity, we desperately need men and women to speak up and stand up for that which is right, and to speak up and fight back against that which is wrong. To mean it and to live it, when we say that racism and sexism and anti-Semitism are wrong. To know that black bigotry can be just as cruel and evil as white bigotry, that there are too many bigots in too many places. There will be those who will come to you and say, you should be quiet in this reactionary time. It's the Donald Trump wish that you don't say anything at all. And some of them will suggest that you look the other way and hope for the best. And yet we can't be silent when all these things are wrong. We can't be silent when the fear many say they fear to even try anymore. We've got to do that, and we must do it strongly, and we have to do it together. We must reply that when it comes to this district, its representation, its people, its hope, its desire for change, its desire to find a way to grow and work together, that we still have a shining and powerful dream given by a shining and powerful God. That when you hear that old version of a new song that speaks of gradualism, when you're told to wait for tomorrow or the next tomorrow, for the next election or the next generation, we must reply, as Dr. King did from an old Birmingham jail, that now is the time and today is the day. It is that because as long as we have breath in our bodies, we have another chance to balance the scales of justice and to make them equal. We have another chance to confront the doors of opportunity and to make them open. We have another chance to seize the chains of mental bondage that is tying up too many of our young people and to set and to break free from those chains. I'm here because I have not given up on the American idea or on the American possibility. And I ask you not to give up also. I am convinced that our nation is perhaps the last expression of a possibility of mankind, devising a social order where justice is the supreme ruler and law but its instrument, where freedom is the dominant creed and order but its principle, where equity is the common practice and fraternity and love the true common human condition. So it's out of that position, out of those beliefs, that I ask you to join us to take this event beyond these walls, but to take this announcement and to take our desire to have a united 7th Congressional District to every part of the district that we can find, and to be with me and stay with me and pray for me. Thank you all very, very much.